Namaste. In this last fourth episode of the series, I have specifically mentioned certain deep insights that will help you to realize whether it is good to have a child or whether you are better not having a child. And as I already mentioned in the episode 1, that it is okay to not have a child. There is no problem. You don't have to force yourself. And so, let's begin with this last episode of this series, Children in Astrology. The Master says the major mistake in bringing up children are many. But I will talk only about the most important mistake. First, the idea that they belong to you. They come through you. You have been a passage, but they don't belong to you. They are not your possessions. Out of this idea of possessiveness, many mistakes arise. So by chance, if you have a child and you are walking on the spiritual path, then you should not entertain the idea that your children belong to you. Else this possessiveness towards your child will become the cause of many sufferings in your life. So having children is okay as long as you don't become possessive of your children. Once you start thinking that your children are your possessions, you have reduced them into things. Because only things can be possessed, not human beings. It is the ugliest act you can do. And those poor children are so helpless, so dependent on you, they cannot rebel. They accept whatever your idea is. I come across many mothers and fathers who are so much possessive of their son and daughters. In the end, this possessiveness brings many miseries in their life. When I will die, there will be no one after me. I am a fakir. And I don't even think of what will happen when I die. That who will take care of my last rituals. Because when the body is dead, the story is over. What is there to wait for? Few years ago, I had met a lawyer, and he is an old man. He said to me, I lost my 2 sons in a road accident. They were very young. I am now alone. But I don't have to worry. I have made arrangements for my last rituals. There is a young boy whom I have raised. He will take care of my last rituals. Now this is how people remain attached. Why do you have to make arrangements? Why you cannot just let God take care of all your worries? But intellectual men are always looking out for making such arrangements. While a Ketuish man is least bothered on what happens when he is dead, he is not even going to make any arrangements for the last rituals. Because he is perfectly aware that someone will find money from his pocket and use it for his last final rituals. Either they will burn him or bury him. So why the heck he has to worry? Reminds me of a beautiful story. There was a great master. His name was Ikasu. He was a very extraordinary human being of great innocence and joy. He loved to laugh and dance and sing. One day, when he was going to die, his disciples asked, What are we going to do with your body? Because you have lived such an unconventional life, we don't know whether to bury or burn you. What are we supposed to do? And the dying master opened his eyes, laughed his last laughter, and said, Surprise me. And then he closed his eyes and died. This is the way of the innocent. Surprise me. Even in death there is innocence, laughter. Even in death, there is no complaint. He is waiting to be surprised. Whether you burn him or bury him, decide yourself, but make it a surprise. Don't ask it. Don't follow any given instructions, because then it will not be a surprise at all. If I say bury me or burn me, then I will already know about it. You have to keep a certain surprise element in your life. And so if you are childless, then naturally this surprise element remains. You don't know who is going to do the last rituals for you. And if you truly are an evolved soul, then does that really matter? An evolved soul simply sets out on his or her next journey, the journey towards the beyond. It is said that many souls desire for a place in heaven after death. However, Bhagwan Raman Maharshi specifically mentions that heaven is a very ordinary place to be. Heaven is a vestige of time, quotes Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. You see, just the way people think that heaven is the only place to be, similarly, common men think that to complete their family, a child is needed, or to be precise, a son is needed. When in reality, these ideas are your illusions. There is no reality to it. Childless men have attained moksha much faster than those who have children, simply because there is no child to get attached to. However, those who have children can also attain moksha, provided they stop being possessive of their child and stop getting attached with their child. The whole thing comes down to one word, my fellows, and that one word is attachment, which drives you birth after birth, and you remain where you are, miserable and lost in this vast human world. Let me tell you, even if the Guru or the Master is with you in the physical form, still the Guru cannot help you overcome your attachments unless and until you start making efforts to turn inwards and realize the futility of attachments. A man who is not much affected for not having children can progress on spiritual path. However, a typical woman or man who is constantly thinking about his or her separated child, or is feeling depressed for not having a child, will remain stuck and will again fall in the never-ending cycle of birth and rebirth. These things are very difficult to digest. That is why I share it with only few. Maybe those who are listening to this podcast and are resonating with it are the chosen ones, for they will be able to move on and progress on their spiritual path. Remember, when you are having no child, or when you are separated from your child, and if you are a spiritual person, then it is a signal from God that the child is not meant for you. You are just a biological father or a biological mother. Beyond that, there is absolutely no karmic balance connected with your child. So drop the attachment and move on. However, very few are able to do so, and therefore very few become the Buddha. Spirituality therefore is not as easy as it seems to be. Just by growing a long beard and applying a tilak on your forehead and adopting some fancy spiritual name will not bring any spiritual progress to you. Your appearance may attract a few million people, but how does that help you grow within? The truth has nothing to do with outer appearances. Truth has much to do with what lies beneath. Once it happened, there was a great spiritual master. His name was Swami Swarupanandha. Interestingly, he never kept a beard. He always used to have a clean shaven face. And let me tell you, he was the greatest spiritual master that the world had ever known. He lived in a small village called Pavas in Konkan. Few days ago, when he was about to take samadhi, his disciples invited one person. They thought he had great powers. They thought he was a spiritual master because his appearance was very attractive. Long beard, big tilak on his forehead. And so they went and asked Swami Swarupanandha of Pavas. And Swami said, "What you see on the outside is not in the inside." The message was loud and clear. Don't take this man as a spiritual master, because the spiritual avatar that you see on his outer appearance is completely absent within his being. He is just a spiritual showcase piece. Always remember, a true sannyas has nothing to do with outer appearance. You may roam around in jeans or in short pants, and still you will be the greatest sannyasi if you have renounced the I thought. Bhagwan Raman Maharshi quotes, "Sannyas is only the renunciation of the I thought and not the rejection of the external objects." Real spiritual person is not the one who says, "I have renounced everything," but the one who says, "I am not the doer." Bhagwan Raman Maharshi quotes, "Even better than the man who thinks I have renounced everything is the one who does his duty but does not think I do this or I am the doer." Even a sannyasi who thinks I am a sannyasi cannot be a true sannyasi, whereas a householder who does not think I am a householder is truly a sannyasi. How beautiful and deep is this quote. When you are not the doer, when you no longer take the credit for doing anything that is good, then God takes over. And when God takes over, you don't have to do anything special. Everything happens in its own accord. Being childless is perfectly fine if you have a certain depth of understanding. Otherwise, there are millions and millions of couples having dozens of children. But are they happy? They may smile on your face, but in their bedrooms they weep like a child because they suffer at the hands of their child. And so, let us not make this idea of having a children as a mandatory thing. If you are pressurized for bearing a child and you are not willing to do so, then you must express yourself and not succumb to the pressure of the society. Remember, whatever happens, happens for a reason, and you still are unaware of that reason. That is how Jesus says to Peter, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." You will understand, but till then you should learn to live your life with total acceptance. Accept the fact that God wants you to remain childless, because there is a much higher purpose to your life, which you currently are unaware of. But later you will understand, you will come to know. My fellows, every individual is unique. It is wrong to compare, and it is wrong to follow the conventions of the society, because you are not a product. You are not a robot. You are a living human being, and you are born for a reason. Always remember this. You are not born accidentally. You are born for a special purpose which you will understand as you start turning inwards, as you start becoming more and more meditative, as you start becoming a man of heart, as you start surrendering yourself at the feet of the Master. Always remember, each person comes into this world with a specific destiny. He has something to fulfill. Some message has to be delivered. Some work has to be completed. You are not here accidentally. You are here meaningfully. There is a purpose behind you. The whole, that is the universe, intends to do something through you. And so, always value yourself. When there is a certain emptiness in one aspect of your life, God ensures that the other side of your life elevates to new heights. It may happen that on one end you may have no child, but on the other end you may have that which millions and millions of people long for. Always remember, there is no such thing called a loser. If one end of the seesaw goes down, then the other end always shoots upside. And so, there are many childless couples in this vast human world. They may not have a child, but they are so beautiful, so loving, and so highly evolved that even if they don't have a child, many will come to help them. Many will take care of them. You know why? Because when you live for others, others will live for you. Paramahamsa Yogananda had no child. He was a celibate, but there are thousands and thousands who would come to serve him, and that too out of love. Yogananda quotes, "There is a magnet in your heart that will attract true friends. That magnet is unselfishness, thinking of others first. When you learn to live for others, they will live for you." The bottom line is simple and straight. If you are childless, then it is a sign that you are chosen for a higher purpose. There is a higher calling, and it is only when you accept your life in totality that you will realize the higher purpose. And then you will be able to respond to this higher calling that only few are blessed with. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.